The game opens with knight f3 from Byrne, and Fischer responds with knight f6. Both players develop their knights toward the center in classical fashion. Byrne plays c4, the English opening approach, and Fischer answers with g6, signaling his intention to fianchetto the dark-squared bishop. Knight c3 develops white's second knight, while Fischer completes his fianchetto with bishop g7. The Grünfeld defense is taking shape. d4 stakes out the center for white. Fischer castles kingside, getting his king to safety early. Bishop f4 develops white's light-squared bishop with tempo, eyeing the long diagonal. Fischer strikes back with d5, challenging white's central control immediately. Queen b3 Byrne puts pressure on both the b7 and d5 pawns simultaneously, a typical aggressive idea in this opening. Fischer captures on c4 with the d-pawn, accepting the Grünfeld gambit structure. White could have developed more quietly with e3, but queen b3 creates immediate tactical threats and forces black to respond precisely. Queen takes c4 recaptures the pawn, keeping white's central majority. Fischer plays c6, reinforcing the center and preparing to challenge white's queen. e4, white establishes a powerful pawn center, controlling key central squares. Fischer develops knight b8 to d7, preparing to reroute this piece. Rook d1 connects the rooks and adds pressure down the d-file. Fischer plays knight b6, attacking white's centralized queen and forcing it to move. Queen c5 maintains the queen's active position while keeping an eye on the king side. Fischer responds with bishop g4. This develops with tempo, pinning the knight on f3 to the uncastled white king. Black is playing very actively despite white's space advantage. White could have retreated the queen to c2, maintaining flexibility, but Byrne prefers to keep the queen centralized. Bishop g5 pins Fischer's knight to the queen on d8, fighting for control. Fischer maneuvers with knight a4, attacking white's queen again and forcing another retreat. Queen a3 keeps the queen active on the queen side. Fischer captures knight takes c3, winning white's knight for the moment. B takes c3, recaptures the knight, but now white's pawn structure is compromised with doubled c-pawns. Fischer plays the stunning knight takes e4, sacrificing a piece right in the center of the board. This was the critical moment where Fischer begins his famous combination. White could have played d5 here to close the center and limit black's piece activity, but Byrne decides to accept the sacrifice. Bishop takes e7 white, grabs the e7 pawn with check-like threats, seemingly winning material. But Fischer unleashes queen b6. This brilliant queen move attacks both the bishop on e7 and the weak f2 square. This is the heart of Fischer's combination. He sacrificed a knight to expose white's king and activate all his pieces with devastating effect. The 13-year-old Fischer has calculated that white's king will never find safety. Could Byrne have defended differently? After bishop takes e7, the damage was already done. The real mistake was accepting the knight on move 13. Bishop c4 develops with tempo, attacking f7 and preparing to castle. Fischer continues with knight takes c3, the third piece sacrifice in just a few moves. Fischer is now down a full knight, but white's king remains stuck in the center. Black threatens devastating discoveries, and his pieces are coordinating perfectly. White had to play bishop c4 to develop, but the position is already spiraling out of control. Bishop c5 attacks the queen on b6, but Fischer responds with the electrifying rook f8 to e8 check. The rook lifts from f8 to deliver check, forcing white's king to move and further exposing it. This is pure Fischer genius. Every piece enters the attack with maximum force. White's king has nowhere to hide, and black's pieces are swarming like a perfectly coordinated swarm. The game is effectively over as a contest, though the beautiful finish is still to come. King f1, the only legal move. Fischer calmly develops bishop e6, improving his pieces, while white's king remains dangerously exposed in the center. Bishop takes b6 finally captures the queen, winning material on the board. But Fischer plays bishop takes c4 check. Even without the queen, black's pieces are so active that the attack continues unabated. King g1 steps away from check. Fischer plays knight e2 check, and the white king is driven around the board like a chess piece being pushed by a grandmaster. King f1 again, trying to find shelter. Fischer continues the relentless checks with knight takes d4 check, winning the central pawn while keeping white's king on the run. King g1, and Fischer repeats with knight e2 check. This forces the white king back and forth, gaining time and improving black's position. King f1 once more. Fischer plays knight c3 check, continuing to harass the exposed monarch while keeping all his pieces perfectly coordinated. King g1 for the third time. Fischer captures a takes b6, winning back material and consolidating his advantage. Despite being down the exchange, black's attack is overwhelming. Queen b4 tries to create counterplay and attack the bishop. Fischer plays rook a4, activating the last inactive piece and attacking white's queen. Queen takes b6 captures the pawn, but Fischer delivers the crushing blow with knight takes d1. This beautiful sacrifice wins white's rook on d1 and leaves black's pieces dominating the board completely. White's last pieces are ineffective, and the king remains fatally exposed. Byrne could have tried queen d6 to trade queens, but after knight takes d1 and rook a1 check, white's position collapses anyway. h3 gives the king a little breathing room. Fischer plays rook, takes a2, grabbing the a2 pawn and threatening to invade white's position completely. King h2 tries to escape the back rank. Fischer continues with knight takes f2, winning another pawn and keeping the pressure at maximum. Rook e1 activates the rook, white's last hope for counterplay. Fischer trades with rook takes e1, simplifying into a winning endgame. Queen d8, check forces the black king to move. Fischer blocks with bishop f8, calmly improving his position while white's resources dwindle. Knight takes e1 captures the rook. Fischer centralizes with bishop d5, dominating the long diagonal and controlling key squares. Knight f3 redeploys the knight. Fischer plays knight e4, bringing the knight to a powerful central outpost and preparing the final assault. Queen b8 tries to stay active. Fischer advances b5, preparing to march the queenside pawns and create further threats. h4 makes a little space. Fischer mirrors with h5, stabilizing the king side and preparing to finish the game. Knight e5 centralizes the knight. Fischer plays king g7, improving the king's position and preparing the final combination. King g1 brings the king toward the center. Fischer delivers bishop c5 check. The bishop swoops to c5 with check, forcing white's king forward into an even more exposed position. This begins the final mating attack. White must play king f1 as the only legal move, and from here, black's pieces will coordinate to deliver checkmate. The game's conclusion is now forced and beautiful. King f1, the only legal response. Fischer plays the brilliant knight g3 check. The knight hops to g3 with check, forcing the white king even further up the board. This is the beginning of the final mating net. Black's pieces are weaving together to deliver an unstoppable checkmate. White's king has no safe squares left, and every check drives it closer to its doom. Could Byrne have resigned here? Absolutely, but he chooses to see Fischer's beautiful finish. King e1 walks into the center of the board, the only legal move. Fischer delivers bishop b4 check. The bishop on c5 shifts to b4, checking the exposed king again. White's king is being pushed around like a pawn, completely helpless against Fischer's perfectly coordinated pieces. The 13-year-old is conducting a symphony of destruction. Each piece has a role, and the finale is approaching rapidly. King d1 continues the forced march. Fischer plays bishop b3 check. The dark-squared bishop on d5 joins the attack with check, driving the white king even further from safety. Now both bishops, the knight and the rook on a2, are working together in perfect harmony. White's king has been pushed all the way to the queenside, and there's no escape. The end is near. King c1, the king's last legal square. Fischer delivers knight e2 check. The knight springs from g3 to e2 with check, forcing the white king to the corner. This is the penultimate move of the combination. Black's pieces have herded the white king all the way to b1, where checkmate will be delivered. The precision is breathtaking. Every move has been forcing, every check driving white's king deeper into the mating net. King b1, forced into the corner. Fischer plays knight c3 check. The knight moves to c3, delivering check and controlling the escape squares. The white king is trapped on b1 with nowhere to go. This is the final check before the killing blow. White must play king c1, walking back into the trap. King c1, the only legal move. Fischer delivers the immortal blow. Rook c2 checkmate. The rook on a2 slides to c2, delivering checkmate and ending one of the most famous games in chess history. The white king is trapped on c1, unable to move, unable to block, unable to capture the rook which is protected by the knight on c3. A 13-year-old Bobby Fischer has just defeated a strong master with a combination that will be studied for generations. This is the game of the century, a masterpiece of calculation, courage, and pure chess brilliance. From move 13's knight sacrifice to this final checkmate, Fischer played with the precision of a world champion, and the chess world would never forget this game.